J.D. Vance, for example, the couch fucker who wishes the rest of the country could just take a joke. In a recent sit-down interview with Joe Rogan that was way too long for any sane person to watch.
That's right.
He told a story about the day that Trump was shot at during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Being quick on his feet, J.D. Vance immediately retrieved his guns and waited patiently for someone to come for him. Despite the assassination attempt happening a couple days before he was announced as Trump's pick for VP, so at the time he would have just been a senator from Ohio.
On a long list of other potential nominees.
Not exactly the second target, but still, his life was in danger. He had to arm himself to the teeth just in case.
Yeah, and it would be extremely unlucky if maybe his extended family members or maybe the mailman or someone showed up when he was in this state of apparent psychosis where he thought his life was in danger and he was willing to defend his home.
Also, to be clear, he thought Trump had been killed.
Yeah,
apparently.
For at least a decent amount of time.
Yeah, he saw Trump get shot on the TV and then apparently just turned off his phone, destroyed the radio in his car, and headed straight home.
Yeah.
Thinking that Trump had been killed and he was next on the hit list.
They should have just left J.D. Vance alone. He would still be holed up in that house to this day.
He's got a lot of rations. He can last a long time.
Like the Japanese soldier who was never told that the war had ended.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance is still out there defending his homeland.
Now, we would show the clip, but it's Rogan. We'd probably get struck. It's out there. We'll leave links in the description as always, but here's what he said happened.
When you first see the video, he grabs his ear and then he goes down, and I'm like, oh my God, they just killed him. And I was so pissed. But then I go into fight or flight mode with my kids. I'm like, all right, kids. We were at a mini golf place in Cincinnati, Ohio. I grab my kids up, throw them in the car, go home and load up all my guns, and basically stand there like a sentry at our front door.
Now, this was not that long ago. I think we all can picture this clip pretty vividly. Trump got hit, and within 2 seconds, was standing by doing the fist thing. Like, I don't even know how it's possible to only see the part where he gets hit, and then just turn off the TV.
Turn the radio off on the drive home, all of that. But again, this was before he was announced as Trump's running mate. But it's good to know that he still found time to play the victim while also reiterating the fact that they tried to kill Trump, despite the shooter in that specific scenario being a registered Republican. And this, a lot of people are like, well, this is just a fantasy. He just made this up. But the story, it at least has some evidence of being true. Because some guy tweeted, and I checked the tweets, they were dated the day that this happened. Some guy tweeted about seeing J.D. Vance abruptly run out of a brewery on the day that Trump was shot. So the account, washed up tweeter, would later clarify that the brewery did indeed have a putt-putt course out back.
That sounds fun.
But it is also funny that, like, he's
like, oh, I was playing miniature golf with my family. You were getting drunk.
No, you were at a fucking bar. So yeah, back on July 13th, he tweeted the following messages back to back. J.D. Vance is at this bar and just fucking split. And my where were you when Trump was shot moment was seeing J.D. Vance and his family fleeing a brewery. So, okay. Yeah.
What a weird little anecdote, though.
Yeah. Again, just like imagine if he had ordered something on Amazon Prime or something, and he's just sitting there with quote, all of his guns, fully loaded, at his door like a sentry, and some unsuspecting delivery guy comes up, hey, got that stuff?
Also, like, if they're coming for you, I feel like your home would be
the last place you'd want to go.
You want to not be at your home.
Probably safer at the brewery.
Maybe.
Yeah. Who knows?
Maybe go hang out at one of those axe-throwing bars and breweries so you can defend yourself.
Go down to the axe. Go down to the Cincinnati Zoo where nothing bad happens and no one ever gets shot. Not even a famous gorilla.
Anyway, we have more to get to in the second half of the show, but let's take a quick second to thank today's sponsor for supporting our show.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Factor. Notice how the days are shorter, but your to-do lists aren't? Power through your busy days with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. From breakfast to dinner and anything in between, Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled and feeling your best. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options that you can add to your box, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. Don't let shorter days slow you down. Stay energized with America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service.
Factor lets you do you. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well balanced. Because Factor's meals are chef-prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only how Factor meals taste, but also how they support your goals. And Factor is cheaper than takeout and dining out, so you can put that extra cash that you save towards holiday shopping. There's no sacrificing quality for convenience with Factor. Weekly menus offer ways to treat yourself to a restaurant-like meal experience with gourmet plus dishes that feature premium proteins and seasonal sides like broccolini, leeks, and asparagus. How does truffle butter filet mignon or garlic herb roasted barramundi sound? Mouth-watering, right?
Stay on your A game with quality ingredients you can trust and quality you can taste in every one of Factor's fresh, never frozen meals. Use your time more efficiently. So important during these dark months. Let Factor take shopping, prepping, cooking, and cleaning up off your daily list of things to do. Join Factor today. Head to factormeals.com/newsdump50 and use code newsdump50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code newsdump50 at factormeals.com/newsdump50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active.
All right, back to the news, and you know what time it is. Sorry, it's time for another edition of the constant stream of news about Elon Musk doing publicly what he accuses others without evidence of doing privately. At this point, it goes without saying that Elon not only has put his thumb on the scales for Trump, he's bouncing on it, baby. He's doing tricks on it.
He's backing up into it.
Tricks on it, baby.
He's riding it like a sibling.
And every day that goes by, new and egregious details emerge regarding his attempts to help manifest a Trump victory through whatever means possible. He's already being investigated over his $1 million per day sweepstakes, which, in a roundabout way, asks submitters to put all their information in there alongside support for the First and Second Amendments, which are clearly tied to Republican politics in a way that leaves just enough room for plausible deniability. Now, the latest update on that is that Musk failed to appear for a hearing at a Pennsylvania courtroom, which could have resulted in a contempt of court charge. But Musk's lawyers attended and also filed a motion that resulted in the case being rescheduled and moved to a federal court. So it's still out there. It's still looming over his head. But obviously he's just kicking the can because he thinks he's above the law and wants to delay all of this until after the election, where if Trump is elected, he will actually be above the law.
Yeah, especially with federal courts. But in addition to that, it also appears as though Musk's super PAC has deployed a social media advertising campaign that is straight out of the Russian disinformation and division playbook, highly reminiscent of the tactics deployed in 2016 and again in 2020. But this time coming straight from Elon Musk and his PAC, America PAC. The absolutely wonderful and consistently great 404 Media were the first to report on this, so we're just going to quote from some of their reporting. But as we always say, links down below. You should absolutely go and support their work because they have released a constant stream of incredible journalism since launching. Here's their latest. An Elon Musk-funded super PAC has expanded an advertising campaign in which it is impersonating Democrats and targeting registered Republicans with policies unpopular with conservatives. They say Kamala Harris will pass if she wins the election. The policies, which are not supported by the Harris campaign, include mandatory gun buyback programs, allowing undocumented immigrants to vote, keeping parents out of decisions about gender-affirming care for minors, and imagining a world without gas-powered vehicles.
Also, imagining that is just the clip from The Simpsons where Lionel Hutz is saying, imagine a world without lawyers, and everyone's dancing around in a circle.
Well, that one's especially funny because, like, if they banned combustion engines today, Elon Musk would stand to make a fuckload of money.
He would take the windfall.
You are the electric car guy.
Yeah, he forgets that sometimes. So the campaign, called Progress 2028, is designed to look like it is the Democratic version of Project 2025 and lists a set of policies that the group says Harris would enact if elected president. In actuality, the entire scheme is being orchestrated and promoted by an Elon Musk-funded group called Building America's Future, which registered to operate Progress 2028 as a fictitious name under the PAC, according to documents uncovered by Open Secrets, which investigates money in politics. They mentioned that this is the same PAC that deployed the targeted ads, which provided different claims about Harris depending entirely on where the people seeing those ads live. If they were in areas that were predominantly Muslim or predominantly Jewish or had those populations. So if you lived in Pennsylvania, you got ads claiming that Harris stands with Palestine. If you lived in Michigan. You got ads saying Harris stands with Israel.
Securing out.
He's just doing the tactics that were exploited by Cambridge Analytica through his own path.
Yeah. I mean,
Which apparently is very legal. Very cool.
on their heels. Hit 'em hard.
It's just very subversive and,
Sniper.
I don't know, bleak, I guess I would say.
yeah, it
paints a not great picture of,
yeah, this is like, it's just a really good example of why Citizens United and just money in politics in general is disgusting and needs to be a fucking illegal and go away.
we'll get to it, Dodgers the greatest team on earth,
That's
but
right, you
just
shithead.
the amount of times that people watching the World Series had to see a fucking ad claiming that Kamala Harris was like sitting at the border and providing gender-affirming care to illegal migrants.
Dude, it's crazy. I don't watch broadcast television except when an LA team is like doing really well. So it's like
Ad campaigns were
I get to sample it like every year, but yeah, just watching the 5 games of the World Series this year, I saw so much fucking political ads. I don't know how people can handle this. Yeah, some of the most cynical fucking shit I've ever seen.
One of the funnier ones that I saw while I was in Florida briefly was they have a marijuana thing on the ballot, and both sides of it, the people that are for recreational and against it, both of those ads that I saw related to that were claiming that there is an abundance, a huge problem with fentanyl-laced marijuana.
No.
And yeah, so the one for it is like, we're going to make sure that the marijuana isn't laced with fentanyl. And the other one's like, we need to ban marijuana because it's all laced with fentanyl, and also people drive bad when they're high. It's like, okay, alcohol's legal.
Has fentanyl like ever been found on
I don't
marijuana?
think so. That seems like a completely made-up thing.
It seems like something that would like only happen in like the Midwest, where they don't have access to, you know, they got long winters.
But even then, it would be so hard to lace weed with fentanyl.
They got that ditch weed, and they're just sprinkling a little bit of fent on it. But like, it doesn't make sense because it's so easy to fucking kill someone.
It's so easy to fucking grow weed. Like, why would you need to cut it with anything?
Yeah, that's
it's insane.
The one thing you can say about weed compared to basically any other drug is it is
there's very little cross-contamination.
It's pretty natural.
The reason that fentanyl gets, in some cases, accidentally laced with something is because they're usually mixing it in the same blenders or cutting it with something.
Yeah, like commercial drug operations. It's just like cross-contamination. They got a warehouse full of they're violating all the OSHA rules because they're crime.
I forget which drug it was. It might have been meth or something, but there was a whole scandal going on, and I think it still does, with like the best way to do this was with a magic bullet blender. And so people were doing different drugs and mixing them up in these blenders, and so obviously it was getting mixed up in it.
They're not cleaning out the blender all the time because then it gets wet, and then you're like, God, I'll also stick to the sides.
Yeah. So regarding the fake Democrat page that targeted conservatives, 404 obviously provides analysis and a lot of screenshots, just dozens of sponsored posts deployed on Facebook, as well as screenshots of text campaigns that were meant to look like ads backing the vice president while misrepresenting or just straight up lying about her policy position. The sponsored posts don't indicate that they are paid for by Musk's conservative PAC, and they point out that the text messages don't feature a disclaimer at all. Here's more from their reporting. These ads say things like, let's remove barriers for undocumented immigrants who are undocumented. Help make our schools as trans-friendly as possible. A national mandatory buyback program means fewer guns and fewer tragedies. Kamala Harris gets it. Kamala Harris will champion the right for minors to access the care they need without fear of parental intervention or discrimination. Let's work together to transform our schools into the most trans-friendly environments possible. We're beyond thrilled to have Kamala Harris on our side for the ban on fracking. Imagine a world without gas-powered vehicles.
But like half the shit, I'm just like, God, I wish I lived in the reality that they think she supports.
That's the constant thing is Republicans claiming that she has all these extremely socialist viewpoints. Not that a lot of those are just made up, but some of them are policies that I would agree with.
Yeah, a lot of them are. It's yeah,
and that's just not true. She doesn't lean that far left. In fact, she's a very conservative candidate.
Democrats have like bent over backwards to like support fracking and oil extraction, and yeah, it'd be a lot cooler if they didn't, but they do. I'm sorry. But wait, there's more, because door knockers working for Musk's America PAC are now claiming that they were tricked, and threatened during their time working under a firm associated with Musk's Political Action Committee. According to recent reporting from Wired, in Michigan, canvassers and paid door knockers for the former president, contracted by a firm associated with America PAC, have been subjected to poor working conditions. A number of them have been driven around in the back of a seatless U-Haul van, according to video obtained by Wired, and threatened that their lodging at a local motel wouldn't be paid for if they didn't meet canvassing quotas. One door knocker alleges that they didn't even know they were signing up for anything having to do with Musk or Trump. What's going to happen is they're going to stop paying for these rooms, a manager told the door knockers in an audio recording obtained by Wired. And then you're going to end up having to pay for it yourself. You can't do that with no money. The door knockers also alleged that they were told that they will have to pay for their own flight home.
Jesus.
This is like indentured servitude. It's insane. They've been, the term for this back in the day was called Shanghaiing. It's a racist undertones there, but this is what would happen. Undertones. And overtones.
Yeah.
But it was like, in like New York City in 1800, if you got a little too drunk at a bar, you'd wake up like on a fucking ship like 100 miles out to sea in the Atlantic, and they're like,
well, I guess there's nothing else you can do.
yeah, you're gonna have to work your way. We can't just take you back.
So yeah, just wild stuff. The reporting continues. One of the canvassers who was flown in from outside the Midwest tells Wired they had no idea they would be knocking on doors in support of Trump, or that the subcontractor they were working for was part of Elon Musk's voter turnout operation through America PAC. Quote, I knew nothing of the job, or much of the job description, other than going door to door and asking the voters who they are voting for, said the door knocker, who was one of the people in the back of the van, and who is requesting anonymity because they signed a non-disclosure agreement. Then, after I signed over an NDA, is when I found out we are for Republicans and with Trump. The door knocker adds that they had overheard my supervisor and a few others mention Elon Musk by name, marking the first time they had heard of the billionaire ex-owner's involvement. And in regards to riding around in U-Hauls, one hired door knocker told the outlet, we were all told our transportation would be handled and we'd be in rental cars. It turned out to be U-Haul.
That's a rental car.
And I felt embarrassed and played.
Yeah. This is
also dangerous. There's no seatbelts. They're just bouncing around that.
Yeah. And no way out. Like, let's say the car gets into a horrible accident or overturns. You can't get out of the back. The thing that really stands out for me is they're flying people in to do door knocking. That's it. That does not seem like a good use of money. I feel like you hire local for this reason.
Well, that's just the thing. We won't pay them, and then we'll leave them stranded.
Like, I've heard of people flying themselves out because they want to support the campaign and they're volunteering their time.
States,
yeah, I've never heard of a get out the vote thing, flying people in from other states to knock on doors somewhere.
And pay them, allegedly, but also keep them in the back of a U-Haul while they drive around and do that.
Elon has a summoning circle, but instead of candles, it's just piles of money, and they're just burning, and he doesn't know anything about running a political action committee.
He's just winging it.
He just started like 2 months ago, and yeah, I think he's wasting a lot of money.
And that's why I think it's also suspicious, because every single tactic that he's attempting to do seems like it is coming straight from what Cambridge Analytica did in 2016.
Maybe they hired some guys.
It's like, well, yeah, that was bad because it was foreign influence, but I am right here in the United States of America. It's very legal.
Well, it's still foreign influence because like his citizenship is now under review because he did lie on
Don't tempt me with that.
Yeah, they're saying like, oh, like technically if we go by the letter of the law, he should be denaturalized. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, if we're threatening to send like 40-year-olds who came here when they were 1 year old and didn't even know they weren't citizens until last year to Mexico where they don't even fucking speak the language, then if we're doing that, then send Elon Musk back to South Africa.
Yeah, and speaking of sending people back and potential stops along the way, just in case we haven't been crystal clear about nearly half the country not just voting for Trump, but actually fully supporting the descent into fascism, a new survey of American citizens displays some horrifically depressing information. A significant portion of the population, mainly Christian Republicans, but also way too many Democrats, seem to be totally fine with throwing immigrants into militarized camps. Here's Axios. A policy proposed by former President Trump to round up and deport undocumented immigrants, even if it requires using military-guarded encampments, has Americans divided, per a new survey. 50% of Americans surveyed oppose setting up encampments for undocumented immigrants, while 47% favor the idea, according to the annual survey from the Nonpartisan Public Religion Research Institute, PRRI, in partnership with the Brookings Institute. Nearly 79% of Republicans favor putting undocumented immigrants into encampments, compared with 47% of independents and 22% of Democrats. The vast majority of Americans who most trust far-right news, 91%, or Fox News, 82%, favor militarized encampments for undocumented immigrants, compared with 44% of Americans who do not watch TV news.
Jesus.
Yeah, all of this is so fucking sad that it would be unbelievable written into a show 20 years ago about the future of America, and yet here we are. Like, oh yeah, we just got the results in from the latest survey. Turns out half the country wants to put immigrants into militarized camps.
Yeah, and they're picturing like gang members, but no, this is like the lady that cleans your fucking house and the guy who does maintenance work on your house.
Everyday average actual Americans who are contributing to the economy.
Who
and
contribute probably, I would say, more to this country than a lot of white people, white naturalized citizens who sit at a fucking desk and send emails all day.
Yeah, and who have families here now, and grandchildren, and children, and relatives, and you think it's just going to stop with undocumented immigrants or undocumented migrants? No, it's absolutely not going to, because once these potential camps are set up, well, I guess the job's done. What do we do now?
Right. Well, it's like... we saw hints of it with like the Haitian thing. It was really interesting. They kind of like overplayed their hand a bit, where it's just like, okay, these Haitians are here legally.
Yes.
And they're like, okay, but like they shouldn't be. I don't accept the legality of that.
Yes.
And so you extrapolate from that onto the many people who are in this country.
They will find a reason
legally, but not in a way that they like.
Just wait around. They'll find a reason for you and your family too.
Anyway, it continues. White evangelical Protestants, 75%, are most likely to favor militarized encampments for undocumented immigrants. How Christian of them. Followed by 61% of white Catholics. Among non-white Christians, around 47% of Hispanic Protestants, 42% of black Protestants, and 33% of Hispanic Catholics favor this policy. 39% of Jewish Americans and 32% of religiously unaffiliated Americans support the idea. I was pretty stunned at how many Americans, particularly Republicans and white evangelicals, supported this. Robert P. Jones, president and founder of PRRI, tells Axios. Jones says the Alien Enemies Act was used just 80 years ago in World War II, and there are people still alive who remember it. So it's not unimaginable that it can happen again. This is not just rhetoric. I do think it's one of the more disturbing things that we found.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
I agree, sir. And yeah, this all goes back to something we've had to repeatedly face recently. The fact that even if Trump is defeated, he's done irreparable harm to the nation's psyche and morality. And the fascists that he's helped out of the shadows, they're not going to go quietly into the night after a potential loss.
Yeah, we have a problem.
The toothpaste is all over the walls. You're not getting it back.
Well, anyways, if you need someone to suffer along with next Tuesday on Election Day, or you just want some comfort food while you wait for the results to come in and news to break, we are going to be doing a live stream of election results and coverage right here on this channel, starting at around 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
That's when the votes.
Be there or be squared, suffer along with us, watch some coverage, watch some votes roll in, and watch us. Well, I don't drink anymore, but I'll sit there and be sad.
I'm not going to drink as much as I used to or would have in the past, but, well, I do have a lot of wine that I need to get through.
He's going to be a wino, folks. Come see it live.
Yeah.
I'll try to set up a landing page for the stream, and I'll just try to get it updated before this video goes up. If so, we'll link it below, right under the sponsors link. Either way, just keep an eye out for it. You can set a reminder so it pops up on your mentions on your phone or whatever when it actually goes live. But for the sake of over-marketing it, Tuesday, Election Day. Tuesday, mate. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Come at least just hang out in the chat. It's been a long time since we've done a live stream. We're probably going to fuck it up a whole bunch.
It's going to be a
I
mess.
haven't even run a live stream for this channel on my own in a very long time, so it's going to be a nice little learning curve jumping back into it. We'll try to get Brandon on the phone. Maybe he can kick off a new United States of Goofy
I think
or something.
the U.S. has gotten too goofy.
Yeah.
It needs to be de-goofified.
That's right. He's going to come back to de-goofify it. But before we leave you today, let's talk about some good news. The Yankees lose.
They did.
And the Dodgers won.
It was a great series, a great game.
The best, maybe the funniest inning of baseball possible.
Just absolutely wild. Just
The Yankees face planting,
really
beating themselves.
demonstrating like how, in what way baseball out of all the major sports really stands out in the way things can just get absolutely fucked very quickly.
Yeah.
And
It was beautiful.
yeah, it's crazy. What a joy.
Freddie Freeman, MVP for life. What an incredible series. Walk-off grand slam in the first. And my favorite part is the Yankees beat themselves in the final game. It was
They played themselves.
Very, very
A
close.
series of unfortunate events.
Obviously, it's MLB footage we can't show you, but just go look up the highlights of just one inning, the fifth inning.
Fifth inning. The top of the fifth was a wild ride. It was very entertaining.
The bar where I was watching with a bunch of friends, they had a DJ who immediately played the Randy Newman song as soon as they won. It was pandemonium, fireworks in the street, just an incredible
People
time.
burning buses.
Hey, well, you know how much money that series brought into this city and how much the team brings into that city? We can burn one bus, right?
LAPD,
They chased a man covered in blue.
they brutalized a whole bunch of people for just indiscriminately firing less lethal rounds at like fucking hot dog vendors.
Yeah.
And shit. It was a real shit show afterwards.
Yeah, but very LA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, world champs, baby. Go cry about it, New York. The curse of the jabroni
Yeah.
is now hovering over the New York Yankees. That guy who tried to rip the ball out of Mookie's hand.
Curse of the jabroni. Yeah.
Insane. And also Rob Gronkowski was like, yeah, I know those guys. Yeah, of course you do, you fucking idiot. Anyways, that's it for News Dump this week. We will be back for some weird news. Some very weird news. Make sure you stay tuned for our live stream on Tuesday, though. And make sure that you like the video. Click the like button. Even if the news is bleak, we're here to suffer with you. So click the like button, leave a comment, start a discussion about anything we talked about today. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're feeling frisky, hit the join button or the thank button. And please, watch our most recent videos over here. It's all election news. It's the last week before the actual election.
all election.
We'll see you soon. Hang in there, baby. Bye.
Bye.
Pool, why are you talking about leniency in sentencing with a man who has consistently gone to the tort conference for the past decade for fun? Are you insane?
I got that sniper. Let's go.
We're gonna watch the Sam Cedar Annihilation tour in a little bit. I saw bits and pieces of it early this morning. I saw that he put the beanie on, which is so sick. I was a little confused. I don't know if it's their main channel or not, but like I was a little confused with like how little live concurrent viewership looked like. And I don't know if it's because they just didn't want to watch their favorite Beanie Boy get absolutely destroyed by my uncle, my real Uncle Sam. I've accepted Kamala will win, which makes me worry because these people will not listen to the uncommitted movement or anyone who praised by God. There's a current effort by progressives to force a vote on troops leaving the region that many in this squad, of course not AOC, are threatening to do. Big dog, are we talking about the Trump Epstein tapes? Oh shit, you're right, dude. What the fuck? I can't believe I forgot to add that on.
You gonna let a bunch of company assholes?
Yes, dude. Yes. That's crazy. That is the real October, November surprise, I guess, technically. That shit is like, yeah, bro, there's actual tapes. Like, there's Trump Epstein tapes. We'll get to it in a second, but it's like, we're gonna start out with Pimpool getting absolutely shellacked by Uncle Sam, okay?
6 hours tonight.
Well, you said you baby born already?
No.
I mean,
I'm talking about
activate cashback protocol.
Bro is
Get your
announcing
ass
like a
back to
fucking
base.
album release.
Yeah, well, with little sleep I get probably will be less.
All right. There you go.
Right on, man. So we'll start light. What do you think's going to happen? I mean, the election is Tuesday. The people are already voting.
No, wait. We got to talk about what am I doing here?
Sure. I was going to start light, but you can go with whatever you want.
No, I mean, it's light to me. Well, like, what? I thought I was banned. Didn't you say I was banned and blacklisted?
Maybe. I don't know the specifics. You have to. There's something to that
Well,
effect.
I can send you a link. But there's, I mean, I got like, I teed it up here.
It's hard for me to remember verbatim everything I said, but
What do I got here?
I would say.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you pretty specifically banned.
Did I say no Sam Cedar at all?
Well, I think so. Here, wait a second.
Trouble. Sam Cedar's blacklisted by a lot of podcasts.
Yeah. Did I say us?
I'm not exaggerating. This is not a joke. Yes, there are many large podcasts that have outright said they will never work with him, and has nothing to do with being afraid to debate him. Sam Cedar's off the list. This guy is a manipulative, lying con man.
I mean, that's pretty strong stuff.
My confusion comes from, did I say I would never have you
Don't
on?
have anything to do with him. And that's why Sam Cedar makes all these videos, and he focuses on drama. I mean, the man's obsession with Dave Rubin is laughable.
I agree with that to this day.
Oh no, I actually I have a
Did I say
real reason for that.
Did I say?
Yeah,
Did I
of course.
say I would never bring you on?
Oh yeah, you did.
Okay, I might have.
I mean, I don't know if I have that specific video teed up. I might though.
I may have. I usually, if I get like heated or something, but I tend not to be as definitive on things like this.
Well, it wasn't just that one time too. When you went on Patrick Bet-David's show, you said the same thing.
Well, but you know it's true.
What's true?
There are a lot of big shows that have blacklisted you.
Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
It's not about you. Nobody wanting to debate you. I mean, the first thing I asked was like, let's talk about the issues, and you immediately pulled up drama. That's
Well, it's not drama. I mean, I think everybody wants to know. It's like a weird.
Dominate.
You know, if you. I used to
CIA,
be
you're clear
a
call.
script
Work your
writer, and if
Bradley.
you put a loaded gun in the first scene and you don't resolve it, people are going to be distracted. So this way we can just
Securing
deal with
zone
this,
A.
get that out of the way, and then move on to stuff that is more, I think, like substantive.
yeah. But that's
First
it,
one's so sweet.
right? It's not my business to tell other
Taking A.
other shows that have brought it up.
Down A.
But
I'm not concerned about other shows. I know what. I'm just curious, what am I doing
Losing
here?
B.
what are you doing here? I had to have you on. I don't know. I figured there were probably misconceptions you had about me. I think that a lot of what you think about what I say comes from clips and not the actual show. So there's like.
I don't really have conceptions of you.
This started because you said something that was untrue about my position on the penalty, and I was like, I think Sam saw a clip that someone pulled out of context and didn't actually hear like my 2-hour diatribe on.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think actually what I was talking about, I don't think I ever said whether you believe in the penalty or not. I mean,
You cited a quote where you said that I said something like.
I cited a quote, or did I play a video?
At the beginning of a video, Tim Pool agrees that people who commit should get the penalty, which
What?
is.
Is that right? Do you have the video? You must have the video. No? Oh, wait a second.
And I just went, holy crap. And
Let me see if I got it, because I'm pretty sure I remember this. It was in the context of you suing Kamala Harris.
And so
And
here-
you
here's
were
the
on
issue.
with Laura Loomer.
Right.
And you said the words,
Here we go.
people who get the death penalty, people who commit should get the death penalty.
What's the context of that sentence?
What's the context of that sentence?
So there's a clip that's 5 seconds long.
Oh, no, but I watched the whole rest of it. Like, I know you went back and forth, but it was so weird, because you should really, if you can find this and put this up, because what I found fascinating about it was that you literally did say on multiple times in that going back and forth, because apparently what happened is you got in trouble at one point with, I don't know, some streaming service about people calling for the death penalty or whatever it was. I don't know the background of that.
YouTube says you can't call for the penalty as a legal mechanism.
Okay. And so she brought up, I think these people committed, they should get the death penalty. And you said...
Well, I don't know if she said, I think
Well, I don't care what she said, really, for this sake. But I'm quite sure you said...
glitch.
If you commit treason, you should get the death penalty.
Now,
right? Now
what words are you missing from that sentence? Because it sounds like you just heard a clip.
No. I watched the whole thing.
Okay, well then
and then at one point afterwards,
let's pause. We'll break.
Yeah, you said if you commit then you should get the death penalty, and you have been caught committing treason. Have you reconsidered your stance on capital punishment?
We'll break this down.
Sure.
Is it currently codified in law that if you commit, you are out, the penalty is death?
What do you mean by codified?
Like, is U.S. law states that the penalty for is death?
Not necessarily, but it is one.
It is, right, the penalty for is death.
What is the penalty for murder?
It varies. It can
Right.
be-
It can be the death penalty.
Exactly.
So it's the exact same dynamic as treason.
Yes. So if we're talking about, in that context, people levying...
Tim Pool, why are you talking about leniency in sentencing with a man who has consistently gone to the tort conference for the past decade for fun? Are you insane? Like this, you're talking to a man who lives and dies by the tort. Okay? That is what he does for fun. Like, this is not a normal person. Okay? He reads Social Security reports for fun on his off time. This is what he does for fun. It makes no sense to me. Okay? I at least watch anime in the off season when I'm not, when I'm not like covering the news or reading the news. Like, at least I have like some fun things that I do. Sam Cedar's idea of fun is homework. Okay? Like sometimes I'll go on vacation with my family and I'll still stream there, right? And I'll care about like the local politics of the area that I go to, and it'll be fun to see like a unique perspective. Once again, repeating, Sam Cedar's idea of fun is going to the tort conference. Tort, a wrongful act or an infringement of a right other than under contract, leading to a civil legal liability.
War against the United States, to which I said, I don't believe any of these people committed treason.
Correct.
Sedition would be trying to undermine or cause damage to the government.
Correct.
Treason.
That's not the issue.
Right. And so the context of that conversation is, one, I don't agree with the death penalty. And in no circumstances, I
But you
routinely-
did say the words, if you committed treason, you should get the death penalty.
Okay, so once again, do you not
Would
understand?
you agree if someone commits murder that they should get the death penalty?
No.
I agree with that.
Right. And
But you did say if they commit treason, they should get the death penalty.
so if we're talking about the penalty for levying war against a country, whether you want it to or not, if a judge sentences someone to death, should they get the death penalty?
If a judge, I don't think people should get the death penalty under any circumstances.
If someone is shooting at another person, should they be shot at and killed?
If someone's shooting at another person, should they be shot at
Yeah,
and killed?
if someone is committing an act of violence, and actively, is it within the legal rights of a person to return with lethal?
I like that Tim Pool's like a legal process in which there's an entire investigation conducted, a prosecution occurs, and you go to the civil or you go to the criminal court structure, and then the punishment dished out to you is death, is the same as like in the moment shooting someone in self-defense. Like we are not on the same planet if you think that this is equivalent. Okay, you are talking about an entirely different scenario, brother. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's not even, you can't say that it's an analogy because it's not an analogy at all. One is a entire process. Like, one is after apprehension, detainment, criminal prosecution, and then sentencing that comes afterwards versus someone defending themselves in the moment.
Force.
You mean self-defense?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Right now, whether you want it to or not, if someone robs a liquor store, should they go to jail?
Should they go to jail?
Under the current laws, regardless of your opinions, should the police arrest the person?
Should the people arrest the person for robbing a liquor store?
Yes.
I mean, I think they should, yes.
You think in literally every single circumstance, then, no matter what happens, if someone commits a robbery, they should be arrested?
I mean, I suppose there could be extenuating circumstances, but yes, if you commit a crime, you should be arrested.
So the clarification that I'm trying to make, it's not about, I don't think there's any real reason to try and go back and parse semantics. The concept was, if people are levying war against the United States, such as we're on the battlefield somewhere in Iraq or whatever, right?
Wait, this whole thing was about treason, where you were saying
Do you want me to explain the ideas, or do you want to just go in circles? I don't understand.
Well, I want you just to address what I'm talking about instead of talking about war. All right, go ahead, please.
Treason is levying war.
Treason is levying war?
Or providing aid to the enemy of the United States in a time of war.
Well, it also, you can be, I mean, there's been people who have been charged with treason when we're not in an active war, but yes, I guess.
Well,
I mean, but however you want to parse this, treason is a legal charge against somebody, and there are multiple potential penalties for that, one of which includes capital punishment, and just
for the sake of clarity, because in the show we're talking about, we're not talking about specifics of someone may or may not be wrongly charged. If you're asking me why I would say something like should be, it's rooted in this. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two witnesses of the same overt act or confession in open court. So the issue at hand was...
I like that they left the empty chair on there. Like, they didn't shut down that camera. What's happening here? I mean, that's like a production note, but like, what are we doing here? Like, come on, you're like a multi-million-dollar operator. You got like millions of dollars from the Russian government.
When we were talking, and I said, I don't think any of these people committed treason. I don't think anything they've done is worthy of death. I don't agree with the death penalty. The return is, but what if they're levying war against us? And then someone decides their life should be forfeit.
I watched that video, and in fact, I remember that.
Hey, Hassan, I don't know just anything about Sam. Did he have a history in debates, or is he just that guy with the knowledge of both? He loves debating. He's very good at debating. And also on top of that, he is very knowledgeable. This is Sam. Sam loves doing this stuff. Like, he truly enjoys this, I think, a lot more than I do, in terms of like talking to silly people and like unwinding them step by step. Now, Tim Pool himself is not exactly the most apt, astute debater either. But yeah, he is. What do you mean Russian money? They're American. Tim Pool, were you not around when the? Okay. You're gonna have to take this up with the Department of Justice and the FBI, my friend, because they disagree with you. Like, there was a whole investigation conducted into tenant media, which is precisely what Sam is going to be talking about, which is why he started talking about the death penalty for treason, because he's going to walk him through those steps and inevitably get to, has your position changed on death penalty for treason since you committed treason by receiving money from a foreign adversary to do propaganda in the United States of America in an active proxy war that's currently happening within Ukraine and Russia, which is technically within the confines of what Tim Pool had talked about, you know, in terms of like treason and the death penalty for treason. So
this now, actually, we were going over the ridiculousness of your lawsuit, and I said, you know,
don't trust anything Daniel Strata Music says. What? Did you ever beat Elden Ring DLC 10/24/2024? Are you okay, chatter?
Oh, Tim says he doesn't agree with the death penalty. That's fine. And then they play. You say if you've committed treason, you should get the death penalty. I mean, and the interesting thing is, then I watched. Hold on, let me finish. And
do you want to do a drama circle jerk, or do you want to actually talk about the ideas of the death penalty?
Ooh, he's already getting mad. It's like, dude, we're 10 minutes in. Why are you mad already? Why you have to be mad?
And what should or should not happen?
No, I think that I personally am against the death penalty. I think you are maybe against the death penalty.
I'm 100% against death penalty.
But what I found fascinating, it was as if you watch that video as it goes further along, and maybe you can release it. I don't know if it's behind a paywall or what. I watched it somewhere, so I know it exists. Maybe it was on Rumble. And if you go along, it's almost like you catch yourself and you realize, like, wait a second, I'm against the death penalty. So, no, you shouldn't get capital punishment. And that's one of the things that I think, like, in terms of, like, that I have always found fascinating about you. And that there's actually a great video by Timba Toast on how you vacillate between different political ideas as a way of, like, maintaining a certain brand.
What is the brand?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what you think the brand is, but
here's the challenge. Here's the challenge. You know, if I post a joke on X that is like over the top, for instance, I tweeted, Kamala Harris is like Hitler and Stalin times 200, and she's going to start 800 wars. That was actually written about in various liberal outlets as if it was a fact statement. And so I'm sitting here being like, can they not tell? Well, there's Poe's law. I get it. Sometimes they don't. But the issue at hand right now is just semantics. So instead of saying like, well,
Dude, we're in the communication business. Like, our words are important. Now, listen,
I'm about to pull out it was a joke defense. Very, very ineffective, I think.
certainly understand people misinterpreting a tweet. Believe me, I've been there.
I will just say this for the sake of clarity. Right now, regardless of my opinions on law, should the law be that someone will receive the death penalty, then they should receive it. I oppose it.
But it doesn't necessarily, the treason, the punishment for treason is not necessarily the death penalty any more than it is with murder.
All right, so let's just try and...
Why would you ever say, if you're against
this is
death
once
penalty...
again misconception I'm trying to get past, so let me explain.
Okay.
In the circumstance where someone has committed a death-worthy trespass, I oppose the death penalty. I would advocate against it. We recently had a big case where there were two instances where people were put to death. One guy, the family even said it shouldn't happen. They had cut a deal with the prosecutor. It still happened. And that was, I believe it was, who was that? That was in Missouri. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people who watch my show were quite outraged that a family would say no. But the issue at hand is, I don't assert myself over the rest of the country in law, which means if the mechanism of the courts is as such, that's what should happen. I will fight against it. That's the semantic misunderstanding.
Oh,
so
all right.
Let's just put it like this.
Because you were so offended. I mean, the reason why I thought I was here was because you were so offended that I said you were against the death penalty.
You said I was for it.
And I got confused when you said someone should get the death penalty.
Under a mechanism of law that I oppose.
Well, you never said those words.
But that was the whole conversation.
No, actually it wasn't.
Literally was.
We can play it.
But I mean, look, how about we just, instead of going back and forth and saying it was this show where these things were said,
I don't think he understands what opposing a law means. Like, you can't say you oppose the death penalty, but if that's currently the law, then you're on board with it. Like, then it should happen. That means you're not in opposition to the death penalty. I oppose capital punishment, which is why I will always say I oppose capital punishment. I'll even offer coverage to instances where capital punishment is occurring. Like specifically the case in Missouri or the one in Texas where like people with a lot of evidence as to their innocence are still executed by the state. Like, that is what opposition to the death penalty or opposition to capital punishment looks like. You know, the one in Texas was stayed. Well, the other one wasn't, but regardless, even if someone is guilty, I still oppose capital punishment, for the record. Like, regardless of whether there is enough information, enough evidence readily available of their innocence, I just genuinely oppose the death penalty in general. I don't think it's appropriate.
We lay it out on the table. There it is.
Okay, there.
Death penalty should be opposed.
We agree on that.
The government is a failed arbiter of who should live or die. This mechanism doesn't work at an institutional level.
I don't know that anybody is.
It makes it seem like he's opposing the death penalty now, specifically for treason, because he may or may not have, accidentally committed treason in terms of being directly financed and changing being directly financed by a foreign adversary government.
Is a arbiter of who should live or die, but yes.
Excuse me. There is some context that is more challenging, such as if a man pointed a weapon at your children, would you decide that he should die?
I mean, if someone pointed a weapon at my children, I would attempt to do whatever I needed to do to stop them. But that's different than
including lethal force.
I mean, if that's what it took, of course.
So that is you making the decision that you will take action which may lead to the death of an individual.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, I would suffer the consequences, but I don't believe in general that in capital punishment. I mean, that's not capital punishment. That's
I agree. I'm just saying
self-defense or
in certain circumstances, a person will decide someone may be about to die. And there's other issues, of course, like whether to render medical aid is a different circumstance. If someone is already dying, then there's if someone is in peril but you can't save them. But in terms of a human being making an active decision to end someone's life, there are many circumstances where someone will decide that they are the arbiter of that decision. Police officers do it every day. Soldiers do it every day. And often regular
Team
people.
deathmatch.
We have the Penny trial in New York right now where they've got the trial going on for the Penny in New York where that guy in the chokehold, and the guy died. He made that decision at that point.
He killed the guy.
He did. And he made that decision for whatever reason. I am going to apply this technique to this man, may result in death. So at a certain point, someone makes that choice. The question then is, do we agree that the choice was necessary or that they were backed into a corner? And that's a difficult decision. So I would just put it this way. I think in a perfect world,
Has nothing to do with capital.
it's about whether someone chooses someone else should die. Like,
Right, but that has nothing to do with capital.
they share.
Capital punishment is
They share it.
definitionally
Someone chooses to die.
a punishment that is put out by the government as opposed to, you know, an individual's decision as to whether or not they're going to apply lethal force to somebody. It has nothing to do with it. You would never say that Penny provided capital punishment to that guy on the subway because...
He's making that argument.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with capital punishment.
Just in the sense that someone's making a decision over someone's death. And the question being, in the case of self-defense, I agree there are circumstances. And in the case of capital punishment, I agree there are no circumstances. I don't believe there's a reality where the government has successfully subdued an individual who they are no longer a threat, and then they just decide 20 years later, now let's kill the person. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I do not believe that we should have capital punishment. I do not believe in the death penalty.
How do we stop it?
Well, I mean, there have been times in the past where we've come close, I think. Sadly, I think because of all of the ginned up stuff about crime in this country over the past couple of years.
Yeah, talk about the crime hysteria. Crime hysteria. Crime panic, crime hysteria time. Let's do it.
I think we're moving in the wrong direction. I think the Democrats actually took it out of their platform this year. That's they're against the capital punishment. It is a problem. There is a cost associated with the attempts to scare people about crime in this country, and that's one of the costs, that we move further away from some type of positive public policy.
4% of death row inmates are likely innocent. And that means at an institutional level, people in this country accept 4 in 100 people.
Wait, what? Like, is he? I'm confused as to what Tim is arguing for here. I'm not gonna lie. Because it's like you're arguing against capital punishment, but then you're tying it back to like how it might be appropriate under certain circumstances because like self-defense exists. And it's like, if you think 4%, if you think the percentage of 4% in a legal structure where like innocent people are executed by the state is unconscionable, I don't even know what the percentage of like self-defense instances that actually end up shooting someone that had no business being shot at all, but simply because of castle doctrine, the person got away with it under our current legal system. That number has to be higher than 4%, like significantly higher than 4%. So innocent executions in the heat of the moment are significantly fucking higher. Like executing an innocent person because you were fearful of them is significantly higher. There's a shit ton of manslaughter cases specifically surrounding that. So you should be against that too, I guess, if that's your principle.
Will be murdered by the state, unjustly killed for a sense of security. I reject that outright.
Yeah, I mean, I think both in terms of efficacy, but even in terms of, I think if you feel that there is a situation where without a threat to anybody, right? I mean, these people are all in jail, that there is a justification to kill someone in cold blood, then I think it just becomes a negotiation as to when it's not.
You know what really gets me to is what I hear from a lot of people is, what about when you know? You've seen on video they're harming a child or they're doing something, and it's funny because in a circumstance where an individual literally witnesses a crime happening, it's easy to say, sure, we can, like if you're out in public and you see someone committing an egregious crime that you know is going to cause great bodily harm or death. But why does that justify an institutional, national level mechanism by which the government can decide that someone dies? Yeah, I think it comes down to 12 people walk into a room, someone they've never met before points to a person they've never met and they say, trust me, kill him. And these people are like, well, sure, I guess. I think that's insane.
No, I agree. I mean, you know, you brought up the penny thing, and I think, like, you know, that's why it's even that much more egregious, in my opinion, his killing of that man, because I don't believe in that situation there was any type of threat that justified holding this guy in a chokehold for that many minutes at all, frankly, for that matter.
What do you think, like, the penalty should be? Like, do you think, like, they're charging him, I think, with negligent? Is it negligent homicide? I'm not sure.
At the very least, I would imagine manslaughter. But, you know, in generally, as a rule, I don't really parse out court cases.
Stand
I mean, there's a charge. As a matter of public policy, there are instances where I think that people should be charged.
They're having a conversation around capital punishment in a way where Tim Pool is agreeing with him on principle, but also simultaneously still making it seem like he's disagreeing with him, and that's why it's confusing and it makes no sense. I'm gonna skip this.
There are people who make certain and again,
when do they move on to some other shit?
The guy is physically assaulted. Scott, we knew, yeah, in 2019. You know, stuff happened.
Because I suspect that, like, they will then move into like crime panic.
New York's been getting pretty wild. I suppose it's relative to the amount of crime, but
getting wild in what way?
There were, I think, last year, like 25 people were pushed in front of trains.
I mean, I can tell you that crime in New York City is, down still around historic lows.
Yeah. New York City has one of the most robust, the most robust public transit structure in the United States of America. It's obviously still significantly lower than, like, our European counterparts or, you know, places like Japan, places like China. But the daily commuter traffic is massive, right? So 25 people being pushed in front of trains is a statistic that comes across as very, like, emotional and very, it freaks out people. You're like, what the fuck? That's crazy. That's an unacceptable amount of murder. It's like, yeah, of course it is. A single murder is unacceptable. But you have to analyze that within the framework of millions of people commuting every single day, okay? So when you look at the statistics like that, when you look at the actual statistics, it is such a tiny margin. It is such a tiny margin of people that completely dismantling the public transit structure in an effort to combat this would be absolutely ridiculous. So you still have to look at
deadly force has been approved.
The actual rates of crime in general. You cannot. This is part of the problem with the media as well and the coverage of this kind of stuff, where the media loves feeding into the crime panic in general, and it personally creates this environment where a lot of people are making false assumptions about their reality. Is Unc gonna hang out for sushi? I told him jokingly, I was like, I jokingly asked him that like a week prior to this, and he's like, I'm not eating anything over there. That's what he said.
I'm old, so I remember New York in the late 80s. And, it's like
3 years ago, sorry, I was wrong. Yeah, it was in 2022, I think.
Listen, during COVID, we had a once-in-a-lifetime event, hopefully, knock on wood, and crime is back down. You know the only crime that has gone up, which is fascinating, and for all of the BS that we've heard over the past couple of years about, shoplifting and smash and grab and all that. You know what the one major crime that is up, like the most statistically? It's actually shoplifting. Shoplifting went up in 2023, and it is now because it went down during COVID. So as much as we heard, and I know you've talked about this quite a bit, and I think it's been misrepresented in a lot of respects.
I don't think Sam is right on this data, by the way, because overall shoplifting and theft went up in accordance to foot traffic going up. Like the rate was a little bit higher than what it, like if it was rate adjusted, it would maybe outperform. Because when foot traffic goes up, when more people are shopping, there's going to be more people shoplifting, right? The one data point that actually went up was homicides, and that was a brief blip.
All of the shoplifting was up. People were gone mayhem. It's crazy. It was actually below where it was in 2019, and it is now back up to where it was in 2019.
I think
And because COVID was, screwed up with our society so much. But again, you ask me.
Another aspect of this also is a calculated decision made by the grocery stores themselves, like these chains. The calculated decision to make self-checkout readily accessible, readily available, in an effort to reduce the number of people working the cash registers, in an effort to reduce the number of people that are employed by the grocery store. They know that this will increase shrink. They know that this will cause people to steal stuff, okay? Because when he's saying shoplifting, he's not specifically just talking about like people going in and doing smash and grabs, right? What you see in the media. Because those smash and grabs, while they can be publicized heavily, are not going to make up for billions of dollars. Actually, the people that are stealing are people like you. You know, it's the people that are complaining about shoplifting that every now and then yoink a fucking Snickers bar at the self-checkout and go, yeah, one for me, one for the store type shit, right? Like, that is what is contributing to the overall shrink. And companies know that. They know that if you have self-checkout, people are going to steal some shit. Except the cost for them to employ cashiers and with all their benefits and with all the workplace compensation and all of the other stuff that they have to offer people that they hire, the profit margins still remain high when they automate that process, even if people steal shit, okay? Just so you understand. So this is something that every grocery store corporate executive knows. This is a reality that they know because they've made this calculation. And what's really interesting about it is that while I can comprehend this by thinking about this logically, and yet these brilliant minds in the media have never really addressed that at all. It's really, really interesting. Self-checkout is what increases shrink, okay? That's what, and that is happening across the board. It's not just happening in like Oakland, or it's not just happening in neighborhoods where grocery stores are closing. It's happening all across the board, and they know that it's happening all across the board, and they've built that additional shrink into their profit margins. They know that it's going to happen, but it's still significantly cheaper for them to cut their workforce and allow people to steal some,
Why are we going the wrong direction with capital punishment? I would say it is the absolute BS that has been shoveled. I don't watch your show enough to know, although I've seen people on here who, when Emma was on, who promote this idea that there was like this explosion of crime. And in fact, what ends up happening is that, yes, during COVID, there was a spike. And now we're back down. And the only thing that is back at 2019 levels is actually shoplifting, because it had gone down and it's gone back up because we're back to normal.
So I'm trying to pull up the Marshall Project. This is a good one.
What?
So we had these, this was the story that happened. This is what's a cause for contention. The FBI released crime data showing that crime had gone down. And during the presidential debates, David Muir fact-checked Donald Trump saying, actually, crime is down. However, recently, the FBI released new crime data showing that actually it was up. It was up, I believe, 4.5.
Wait, what? Hold on 1 second. Let me just fix my screens real quick because I'm having some issues here. Okay. Oh, Sam's gonna cook him on this.
When? What year?
The year prior, 2021.
It was up.
Yeah. So the latest data that we...
Dude, what are you talking about? Crime is down from 2023 to 2024. That's just the truth. David Muir is correct in correcting Donald Trump. You can't just go back and be like, well, FBI found out that the crime was actually up. Yeah, it was up in 2021. Okay, like I don't know if you know this, but like there's a presidential election happening, which could have clued you in on what year it is, considering that that was in the process of a presidential debate.
But we knew. No, it was actually 2022. We knew. We knew. Yeah, it was 2022.
I'm sorry, the increase from 2021.
Yeah. Yeah, during COVID. In the wake of COVID, 2022 was up because the data reporting was not complete. But if you look at 2023 data, which is now they have got enough of the police departments online that 94 point something of the country is covered, you will find that crime is down in 2023.
So do you think? I think one of the issues
we had a rise because of COVID, and now it's dropping back down. But again, let's also be clear on this. If you compare 1990 crime with today, it's basically like this. It's just straight down on that.
You want to know something interesting? You know what one of the biggest factors in the decline in murder is? Cell phones. So back in the day, in the 90s, if somebody got stabbed, somebody had to run to a payphone to try and call 911, and that created a massive gap between first response and medical treatment. And so around the time cell phones came out, you see a massive drop in murder charges and homicides. People immediately started thinking like, wow, crime is down. And it's like, well, no, look at the crime data. It is down, it is going down, but it's not the same. There's a decline in crime and a sharp decline in murder because now people were instantly calling 911 and first responders were arriving on scene much more quickly. So that's
okay, but also the other part was, that's interesting.
Crime's been going down.
Crime has been going down. I mean, there's a lot of theories about it. I happen to think it's a function of lead, to be honest with you.
I agree, lead and gasoline.
Lead and gasoline and lead regulation. It's another example of strong government regulation bringing about benefits that we couldn't even imagine.
I agree. What do you think? I don't understand the mechanism by which lead made crime happen. I saw the reports though, where
lead is a neurotoxin, and if you have brain damage, you're more likely to be.
That is the sad state of affairs. Is that like yes, a big chunk of our Gen Xers are just straightforwardly brain damaged. It's kind of a wild reality to reckon with, but yeah, a lot of our boomers, but specifically Gen X, is the lead generation, is the lead poison generation. And yeah, it is perhaps one of the major reasons as to why they are so incredibly violent. Yeah. This is probably one of the most resilient theories I've ever seen on the matter in terms of like why there was such historic highs in crime and how we have basically reached historic lows in crime. Like the lead theory is I don't think it's like a crazy conspiracy is what I'm saying. I don't,
maybe violent or antisocial.
That's crazy. Like in the 70s when we had leaded gasoline and it's just pumping out of all these cars, people are effectively having some kind of effect on their brain that
it aggregates. And so if you are living in areas that had a lot of lead paint, hadn't been remediated, and on top of that you're getting gasoline that's in the air, or I should say lead that is in the air because of gas, that accumulates in your brain and it creates neurotoxin. That's why we have that problem in Flint, Michigan,
right,
with the lead poisoning. We have a lot of children, who have special needs, and there is data. I mean, this is it's very difficult to assess this stuff, but there's data that shows that about 20 years after lead gasoline is outlawed, or lead in gasoline is outlawed, you see a precipitous drop both internationally and in this country.
What do you think about phthalates? Are you familiar?
No.
So plastic chemicals leaching into our food.
Oh, yeah.
Even these cans. So I'm going to give a shout out to Liquid Death. Look mad at me, I guess. So Liquid Death is water in cans, and it says death to plastic, but every single aluminum can is lined with plastic. So it's all leaching into our, even these spindrifts. They say they're endocrine disruptors. So they're affecting people's hormone regulation, hormone balance. This could lead to, depending on the study, hormone imbalance could lead to like emotional disturbances or dissociative.
This part I don't understand because I love drinking just cans. I love slamming Diet Cokes all day, every day. And I also happen to pay close attention to my testosterone levels. Like, I have a pretty healthy, relatively balanced diet on top of that. And I just don't know. Like, I feel like if there was someone who would get hit with the microplastics, make you gay shit, which is what like his underlying theory is here, like I'd be the #1 person who is homified, you know? Because I'm not even at this point. I'm mostly macroplastic. I've moved beyond microplastic.
Or like identity issues.
This is one of the reasons why, I mean, since we are a couple of days away from an election,
I'm such a soda boy.
I think it's so important to make sure that Donald Trump is not in a position to appoint any more Supreme Court justices. I mean, the damage has been done, but, you know, it could be rectified, because one of the things that the Supreme Court has done in its assault on what is known as the Chevron doctrine, and deference, is it will over time inhibit the ability of something like the EPA or the USDA or the FDA from assessing in real time that there is a problem with certain products that is poisoning our environment or poisoning our people, and it will inhibit their ability to address it, because we don't know in the future, and certainly if you know what chemicals, you know, we discovered this over time, right? We didn't know this when plastics are fantastic, and then we start to realize there's these PFAS, there's these things that you mentioned, maybe in the context of fracking, there are certain things leaching into water, but you probably know that you can't just like, there's no, I test water and then all the bad stuff comes back on the test sheet. You must look for specific things. Well, what the Supreme Court has done is inhibited, and this actually is even a problem for investors like the SEC and other agencies. They have inhibited the ability of these agencies to do their work as scientists, as financial regulators, find problems that exist that were not contemplated by Congress and act upon them. Because Congress doesn't have the ability, you know, to act on every single or anticipate every single substance that may be a problem for people, or and
high fructose corn syrup.
I mean, that's also a problem. That was under the Nixon administration. They decided they wanted to increase the amount of money that expendable money that people had. So they decided to subsidize corn and you know, make all the food cheaper. But
isn't it weird how the high fructose corn syrup things happens? They subsidize corn. So then these researchers are like, corn's so cheap now because it's being paid for by the government, by taxpayers, that we can produce. It's actually difficult to make high fructose corn syrup. It's more expensive than sugar, but the government subsidy has resulted in
100%. That's also the filler in all our foods.
Yeah. I was reading something recently that said that the high colon cancer rate among young people is due to emulsifiers. They're using like...
This looks like Tim Pool receiving an entry-level college class. Yeah. It is not as contentious as I thought it was going to be. I mean, I still appreciate it. Like, I think it's good for Tim Pool's audience to have like a better, wait for it. Okay. All I'm saying is it's good for Tim Pool's audience to get an introduction to someone like Samuel Cedar in a non-adversarial setting like this, because, you know, they'll learn some shit, hopefully.
Gelling gum and guar gum and these things in dairy products. So, or not even just dairy products, but like to make it seem like it's fatty. And so you're actually just eating this like gum stuff that gunks up your insides. I don't know how you appropriately regulate or deal with things like that, because it's like you're saying, we don't know what it's going to do until we have all this data and research for a long period of time.
I mean, we could regulate against it. Like, I wasn't quite a
Tim is like, look at us. Isn't this world crazy? Yeah, he is doing that.
fan of Michael Bloomberg, but one of the things he did was, I think it was during the Bloomberg administration, there were like polysaturated fats, I think it was, that were outlawed in New York City. I think that's become the norm around the country. Even you couldn't buy a 40-ounce soda.
That was kind of weird.
Not really, because it's the same principle, right? I mean, the fact is that like, and the pushback from conservatives in this was so ridiculous because, like, look, I can't go buy a pony version of like a beer. Like, I don't want a 12-ounce beer.
It's not illegal.
I want to, but I can't, it's not available to me. I mean, the size distribution, what difference does it make? Like, at the end of the day.
Right, well, it's true because people just bought 2 sodas.
It is.
Speak for yourself, brother. You better not be advocating to make my beer gay. I want multiple beers. I need to slam them back.
I mean, if you buy 2 sodas, at least you're trying to basically, you're not. You're not outlawing sodas or whatnot, but you're trying to encourage less cost essentially for society, right? Because more people get diabetes, that ends up costing society more. I mean, so there's a lot of value to regulation. Look, we saw this in the context of light bulbs. The light technology we have in here, right? All these LEDs. It's a lot cooler in here than it would be if we had the old-timey lights.
Oh, they burn out, too.
The LEDs don't. They're cheaper. It took a couple of years before you got the technology was better. But maybe you remember this, but the outrage by conservatives over the light bulbs, and we hear Trump talk about this too with the toilets and whatnot. Incidentally, I'm very sorry. You have a very fancy toilet, and you have a very fancy toilet.
Oh my God, he dumped in there. He dumped it. Yo, that's crazy. He did not just dump. He did not dump in Temple. That is an act of resistance right there.
Apologized.
Well, it wouldn't flush.
You got to, because it's a fancy toilet, it's trying to save water. We try, man. So
no, I appreciate that.
But you end up having to press it several times, and then
it didn't work for me.
Should we just get the regular one? The regular?
I don't know what you should do, but maybe I would call the authorities because
Well, I mean, but that's kind of an issue.
That's insane. That is an insane thing to say. He's like, you should call the authorities because I left a big one in there.
You're right. We have
some shit I would say. It's funny hearing Sam Cedar say that.
It's like high-end eco toilet. It will.
Well, it's a bidet, and it's fantastic. I really enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, bidets are the best.
But it won't flush. Yeah, people keep asking, like, I don't understand. I'm like, you got to press like 3 times. Because it has like a sensor.
I pressed it like 5.
It's given up the lead.
So, I mean, this kind of feels like an example. So, we agree. We want to reduce excess waste. We want to reduce overuse, waste in general. Like, we don't want to produce waste. We want to, we want to not waste things like fresh water. But now we have a toilet that requires 5 flushes because we tried doing the right thing.
Well, I mean, you just bought the wrong toilet. I mean,
One downstairs.
I have low flow. You can find low flow manual toilets. I mean, that's a high-end toilet.
Okay, this conversation is getting derailed.
I mean, the bottom line is all of these. There are definitely regulations. Nobody's forcing you to buy that toilet, but there are definitely regulations that we find over time are not as effective as we thought. But the bottom line is all of this deregulation that we're seeing
the advantage. Now hold
is a function of largely of, well, certainly of conservatives, but largely a function of the Republican Party. And now we see, for me, Kamala Harris would not be the first person that I would vote for, but in terms of the Supreme Court, that alone is enough.
How do we balance
in federal courts, I would say, too?
How do we balance? So there's a push and pull between private and public. There are, I've never been a laissez-faire libertarian guy. I've never heard a good argument from a libertarian about how you protect water. I've often brought up the Clean Water Restoration Act. Are you familiar?
A little bit.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. It's just, I think it was the 70s. I'm not sure if it was the Cuyahoga River.
It was the Cuyahoga River in Ohio that was on fire, and that's where we got the EPA from.
Right. And people were like, why is this? And what ends up happening is all of these corporations say, don't look at me, I only did a little bit. And it's like, well, yeah, but literally everybody doing a little bit is an avalanche.
Yes, of course. And
I've never heard a good answer for how you deal with something like that. Just claiming someone owns the river changes nothing.
No, of course it doesn't. I mean, I've had many debates. People can...
So what we've learned so far is that Tim Pool is, one, a steady opponent, a steady opponent of capital punishment, and two, is an environmentalist. 39 minutes in, and the entire conversation has been Tim Pool agreeing with Sam that capital punishment is unconscionable, and that two, we really have to do climate change initiative. We really should not have gutted the EPA. It seems like Tim Pool is voting for maybe not even Kamala Harris out of the anger that he has towards Kamala Harris's lackluster approach to climate change initiatives. Is that what's going on? Am I hearing this correctly? This seems very different than the Trump will win every state by a landslide Tim Pool from 2020. Tim Pool is a PSL pill, it seems.
You can look on my channel for my debates with libertarians, and at one point it all just turns into ridiculous mush with libertarians. And look, there's the idea that you are either pro-regulation or anti-regulation. To be anti-regulation is, in my estimation, absurd. But that doesn't mean that you don't look at each regulation and make an assessment as to whether it's functioning or not. There's a lot of local regulations that I think are unhelpful at times. I'm sure on a federal level there's some regulations that are unhelpful. But the bottom line is, fundamentally,
this kind of stuff annoys me though, because it's like guys like this who are otherwise like amoral, who are otherwise like valueless, can so quickly behave like a chameleon in any sort of conversation, you know, and they can suit, they can basically change their entire worldview just for the sake of that conversation, and then just go back to the regular bullshit. And I don't know. I find it a little bit aggravating. I find it a little bit annoying. There are a lot of people who are just. There are a lot of people I see. Like Tim Pool is a propagandist for sure. Obviously, he's a right-wing guy. But there's even people in like the debate space, for example, that will that are very clearly not motivated by empathy and don't have a world view that revolves around like doing no harm or minimizing harm, anything like that. And they can just like depending on who their opponent is, they can turn around and just, you know, argue on the exact opposite sides of a position. They're like debate mercenaries, basically. And I don't think their audiences punish them enough for it anyway. Like, I don't think people will punish. That's why D is on his pro-Palestine arc right now and debating Zionists and blaming me for affecting the movement for worse. I like that his entire worldview is just motivated by whatever, like being at odds with me, no matter what it is. Yeah, he is the true advocate for the Palestinian cause after advocating to genocide them and continuing to defend that genocide for a year of said genocide. And now he's going to be the true champion of the pro-Palestinian cause and be like, Hassan is the bad guy. I don't believe that he is actually flipped. This chatter keeps saying he is, or this chatter keeps saying he has flipped. But good luck, you know? Like I said, if you came out pro-Israel on October 7th, you would have been pro-Palestine, probably. But that is precisely what I'm talking about. That is actually what I'm talking about, which is that, like a lot of these people just have, like, an enemy that they've designated. Like, with Destiny, it's obvious. With Destiny, it's obvious. It's like, he has tailored a lot of his content and a lot of his ideology around, like, being in opposition to me. So... anything that drives a wedge, he will try to utilize, which is very strange. But one thing that is clear is that yes, he has no consistent set of principles or values, but he is rhetorically skilled enough to be able to, I guess, dupe people, especially in like short bursts, when something is like clipped in a TikTok debate format or whatever. He can get people to be like, yeah, this is the, this guy seems to be on my team or whatever. And most people don't interrogate or examine the full scope of their knowledge or their opinions or their advocacy. But that's pretty much it. Is this successful? Are you noticing more hate or not? Not really. I don't think it's that strange because he's definitely getting bred of that tactic. I know, but I think ultimately it doesn't really matter. Let's continue.
Do you allow the government to have this ability to regulate? The idea that we have that it inhibits the free market in some way. I think the idea of a free market is absurd, doesn't exist. But beyond that, we're always regulating the market. It's just a question for whose benefit are we regulating it? That's the bottom line.
I think free markets can only exist temporarily until someone amasses power and then displaces the market and becomes the power structure.
There is no, like, what is a free market?
It would be like 10 people who live 10 miles from each other, they trade periodically. But once you get to a point where anyone controls one resource, you start to get power displacement, and then you'll end up with power centralizing.
Yes, well, the first thing that you're talking about, hasn't existed in
forever.
Forever. I mean, really.
But if he's saying anything pro-Palestine, it's because the tides have turned so much further than they ever were, and it's more beneficial from a standpoint to ride both sides now. Yeah, that's probably what it is. But good luck to him. I hope that he finds peace one day and stops relentlessly trying to smear me with his maybe 3,000 cultish freaks that are in here probably every single day, more than they even watch him. The reality of the matter is it'll never happen because he makes money off of that.
But it's like, I talk about this with left libertarianism because a lot of people on the right say it doesn't exist. And I'm like, it absolutely does. It's hippies living on a farm. You know what I mean? That's left libertarianism. They're just hippies on a farm. There's no need for great power structures or police because 10 people living on a farm get along just fine.
Yeah,
but scaling things up is where,
and maybe they're completely self-sufficient, but they got there in some fashion, and it wasn't they drove on roads that were built
right
by a society. So.
It is funny because I always hear libertarians say it's a meme who's going to build the roads, and I never actually get a response.
Well,
like
you can find private companies that are going to build roads, but they're
as they do.
Yes, but they're not going to build.
The trap card. Never tell a deregulation, anarcho-capitalist, libertarian slanted guy how roads are built. Okay, never tell them that. You'll destroy their worldview. Okay, it's pretty funny that this ideology has existed for so long, and yet they have seemingly not come across like a coherent way to get around the initial infrastructure expenditure necessary. Like they say toll roads and whatnot, but there's still a massive amount of expenditure that you need to put down before you get to that process. And it's like virtually impossible. It is virtually impossible to do that with simple tolls. So it's pretty funny. Sam is taking calls from any libertarian who would speak with him to debate on the subject, and they've all been destroyed so badly that none even bother to call anymore. Yeah, I will never understand like how this genuine issue is presented to libertarians on a regular basis, and they never have an answer for it. Like I've yet to hear a coherent counter argument to a concept as simple as fucking roads. Like there are varying degrees of anarchist thought on this matter. You have minarchists who believe in like small government because you still need to have a court structure, right, to enforce contracts. That's another fun argument that I'm sure Sam engages with all the time. But it's just, yeah, you bring up the court system, you bring up the enforcement of the court system, and all of a sudden, bedlam. No coherent, reasonable counter argument to either of these things where you're like, okay, so you want a minimal government, you want a court structure, who's going to do the contract enforcement? Zapatistas have roads, CNT had roads, the anarchists in Manchuria had roads though. Yeah, that's different. We're talking about anarcho-capitalists. It is like one is the abolition of hierarchy and the democratization of all matter, all aspects of governance The other is only unjustifiable hierarchies where might is right and money plays a significantly larger role, where there is no, there is no structure at all. There's no enforcement at all.
Build it to everywhere, like, out here,
We had to build this road.
Well, you built the road, the paved one.
The the one that goes onto the property, we had to build.
Not
Well, yes,
fooling
of course,
libertarians
of
by
course,
bringing up the
but,
bitch-ass roads. Libertarians, which tend to be smarter people, you somehow think that the thing that's gonna stump us and be like, damn, fuck this libertarian shit, is the motherfucking roads. This is level 1 shit. You not fooling now libertarian by bringing up them bitch-ass roads.
So what's the, who builds it? What are you going to do? You're just going to pave it yourself, like Tim Pool said? Because roads are, at the end of the day, a circuit. They have to connect. Railroads are private corporations for what it's worth. Yeah. And that process has been fantastic. Also, once again, tremendous amount of government expenditure on that as well. Heavily regulated, would be significantly more efficient if nationalized. Still requires, there is no massive infrastructure project. There is no massive infrastructure project like that was not built with government interference. Okay? Roads are built by the government and then given to private contractors. Railroads, still similar structure.
Fuck them hoe-ass roads, man.
The paved one gives you the opportunity to, that's the way you get to the airport.
Yeah. So I guess the point about regulation is, I certainly agree. It's like Republicans across the board are almost always talking about deregulation. But
Yeah, it's absurd.
But I don't see Democrats talking about cleaning regulation either. Right? There's a give and take.
What?
Let me give you a better example.
What does cleaning regulation mean?
Getting rid of the bad ones.
Oh my God! I mean, I would
like
say so
reforming.
to an excessive standpoint. I mean, this is and I'm not speaking positively this, but that guy Cass Sunstein underneath under the Obama administration, it was absurd. The idea, look, I don't think you ever have to worry about the Democrats putting.
I agree with you almost 100% on everything. But just as a devil's advocate, how does this line of thinking apply to NASA versus SpaceX in terms of success and efficiency of systems? I'd assume it's not a public versus private perfect example, but yeah, curious of your thoughts. Yeah, that's actually a wonderful question. SpaceX is NASA. You're doing the railroad argument again. It's the government building it and then government building the underlying infrastructure and then handing the keys to a private corporation, and then still continuously funding that private corporation. That is, SpaceX is funded by the government. It's comprised almost entirely of former JPL NASA engineers. The major issue with, the major argument against this, in terms of aerospace manufacturing and technological achievements that occur in the field of aerospace, is that when it's funded by the government gets to say, because it might be, politically sound, we're spending too much money on this shit, okay? When it's at least a private contractor, they can give the same amount of money, if not more money, okay? But it's hidden, as it's written off as an expenditure that isn't cut, because we have no mechanism of saying we got to lower the amount of subsidies that we're offering to private corporations, because the private-public partnership is the method in the United States of America. That is the saddest aspect of this. These massive technological improvements that have been life-changing have almost always come from the public sector, because massive technological leaps require an endless amount of failure. Private corporations have short-term profit motives. Therefore, they do not have a lot of room for failure. They do not have a lot of room to just burn endless amounts of money in an effort to get to a certain point necessary. The internet would have never been created under a private structure. It just simply would not happen. And the same is true for novel chemical compound discovery, for example. Like virtually every single novel chemical compound discovery happens in public research. Okay? Other countries that have more robust public research facilities and spend less money actually are per capita creating creating more novel chemical compounds than the United States of America. There's a reason for that. It's because failure is not viewed in the same way in the public sector as it is in the private one. Failure is a necessary part of scientific discovery. There are many examples of this in every field. What the fuck is a novel chemical compound? Medicine? Yes.
Too much regulation on things because to a certain extent there's still elements within that party, and hopefully it's getting drummed out.
Well, guns is a good issue on overregulation.
Neoliberalism. Guns are
overregulated in ways that don't quite make sense. Right, so that's an example of, for instance, semantic definitions of high capacity and standard capacity, what those even mean. But more importantly, the specific example would be in Maryland, they've banned the M1A, but the SCAR 20S is legal, despite the fact, and there's no legal, there's no reason for it other than Democrats just decided we will start regulating these things because it sounds good on paper.
Well, I think that probably the reason is that we have a court that decided.
Reporting from Tim's chat, libertarians literally have answers to every single thing you said. You just don't listen. I mean, I have listened. Toll roads is not an accurate, adequate counter. And court enforcement still needs to be maintained by a state. So if you leave that up to private corporations, the results are not going to be good. A lot of libertarians who work regular 9-to-5 jobs, who fantasize about one day becoming like crypto billionaires or whatever, don't recognize that if you're a serf under this current structure, more deregulation is not going to magically make you a slave owner, a slave master. It's going to make you a slave. But a lot of people think falsely that I'm actually in a shitty situation right now, but in a structure where there's more exploitation and less safeguards, I'll actually thrive. It's like, no, you won't. The very same people that dominate your lives will be able to dominate them even more. It's going to be the board of executives at Coca-Cola that make these decisions, as they do currently within the confines of a state structure.
In 2008, after almost 200 years in this country of not perceiving an individual right to carry a gun, but only in the context of
the idea that libertarianism involves CP or getting rid of driver's licenses, the age of consent are just stereotypes. It's interesting that they're just stereotypes, even though it seems to be the only things that they advocate for in their own conferences. Like, Tim Pool is not a libertarian. Is Rothbard not a libertarian? Libertarianism simply means you have the freedom to do whatever you want as long as your actions don't harm others. Okay. Deregulation does not mean no regulation. Limited government does not mean no government. I feel like you're at odds with some of your fellow libertarians, at least the most public-facing ones, whether they are in academia or ones that are publicly advocating for these positions. Every single libertarian is like, this other guy isn't a real libertarian, he's fake and gay. Yeah.
Being a well-regulated militia, that because the court has lurched so far to the right over the past 2 decades, particularly most recently, that I think the idea is that you chip away at this from a legal perspective to try and build a legal precedent by doing, with that specific regulation. But I would imagine that's the idea. We're going to get as much regulation as we can in this. I don't know.
Side note, please go back to your previous lighting setup. It was better somehow. I disagree. And I think Chad will disagree with you as well. I think Chad likes this new lighting setup a lot more. It makes the camera quality a lot better. Like, the camera literally looks better. It's lit better.
Like, what's the damage done by that? maybe from the perspective.
Made people felons who have like an archaic. It's unfair to call it archaic, I guess, but like the M1 Garand is like a Vietnam weapon, and the M1A is a more modern version. But it's like a wood stock, and it's got like it's a what is it, 308. The Scar 20S is a modern AR-15 style variant, which is substantially more efficient.
Well, I am definitely in favor of outlawing, all of them, if that makes it easier.
Every single one.
Well, I listen. I think that people. I have no problem with people using weapons that are specifically for hunting. That's I'm okay with that. But
see how I segued into guns now?
Well, I'm happy to. It's absurd. I think.
That's a bit of a forced segue.
But the Supreme Court has lurched to the right, and we have
agree.
two Supreme Court justices on the right who I think want to retire in Alito and in Clarence Thomas, and I would love Donald Trump not to have the opportunity to appoint their successors.
I don't want to go too. I want to stay on the guns for a bit, but the sign's pointing to a Trump victory. It doesn't mean he's going to win. I don't know if he's going to win.
Didn't you tell me we were driving up and somebody asked me if I'd been on your show before, and I said, yeah. I don't know what show it was because you got so many. But
it was actually this channel.
Okay.
That was like 7 years ago.
And nobody can find that interview, but I'm quite convinced that you also predicted a Trump victory then, and that must have been it was pre-COVID.
Well, this was like 2017, 2018.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe not, but I'm pretty sure it was.
I mean, I am unclear as to who's going to win this election. I see positive signs for Harris, but I can't tell if that's me being aspirational or not. So
well, I would certainly say I learned my lesson with 2020, right? So
Damn! Wait, no way. Yo, he did not just say that. Bro said 50 states landslide. No, did he say 49 state? I don't want to get it wrong. Bro said 49 state landslide.
He definitely said landslide.
For Trump, dude. What was the one state that loses? What was the one godless commie freak state? Was it California? No, I don't even think it was California. I think it was like it was like Colorado or something, or Vermont that was going to stay Democrat.
I'm looking at, for instance, Moody's Analytics. And they always release this economic report where they're like, here's our projections. And they tout how it's historically accurate. And then what I think I saw was...
Honestly, I think he should pause it when I know he's afraid of losing first, but the second he comes back, it'll go lost to Andy. I don't think it would happen. Maybe he should put a little... Maybe he should just have a music, real quick, where it's kind of I like to throw up one of these right here. Boom. We'll be right back. You can have something like that, right? But just letting the video run, I mean, even if you can hear it, that's all well and good, but it's kind of bro. Empty chair. No, Jack.
There was an increase in support for Trump, and what I thought I was calling out accurately was an increase in...
How am I already an hour into this? All right. See my buddy. Oh. Next.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you?
All right.
What's going on?
Oh, I was just in there doing a little
Of a campaign.
and
I saw that you were in there.
Oh my God.
Whoa,
You're
what's
right
going on?
about the Resident Evil thing is totally. You're right about that. That's the vibe, man. Yeah,
Really?
it's a puzzle.
Is it bad? Or is it cool?
Right now, it's frustrating as fuck.
Really?
You know, you're like wandering around an old house, trying to piece together some clues.
You know what? If Ink Slasher put out a video how to solve all those puzzles, if you like deal with that shit, which I get. Hey, oh, by the way, I'm streaming right now. No one's watching. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Actually, I streamed yesterday's when we played. I was gonna I streamed just that. I didn't connect it to my other streaming. I just had like there's just a section where we were playing together. I was streaming, and so I was gonna send that to you. Just kind of see it or whatever.
All right. Cool. Yeah.
Christ, I'm sorry. I'm drinking White Claws. I'm drinking the White Claw Surge, the serious shit. So I'm buzzing pretty bad. So, please forgive me.
No worries. It's okay. I just got a half hour to
well, let's
play,
go. Let's go. What do you got going on tonight?
Yeah. Oh, we're just gonna, it's Friday and Rachel's ready to watch some TV. I think there's a couple of comedy specials out right now. Tom Papa's got a new.
Tom Papa's pretty funny.
Netflix, I think. Yeah, he's hilarious. And what's his name? Seth Meyer also has a new HBO special, I guess.
Really? Interesting.
Stand up. Yeah.
That's gonna be very political.
So
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that one for sure would be Trumperific.
God. Yeah, if you haven't been watching the Internet Today episodes, the Weekly Weird guys, they've been putting. It's been all politics all the time. So they've been all their stuff is fantastic. Yeah. But give me 2 seconds. I gotta go grab something out of the fridge real quick. And Nuketown. Have you played Nuketown yet?
No. Nope. No.
Dude, all right. I'll be right.
Okay. What?
Okay. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, it looks like we're going into a match.
Yes, we are. I got. I'm sorry. Did you need to do some setup? Oh.
I glanced at it. I think I'm all right. I just got to get a mark.
All right. If I can back out if you need to.
No, it's fine.
You need to.
Oh. Have a mark?
I need to keep goes with the disruptor. With the scrambler. Upgrade, which is.
Time to hard point.
I'd rather use my sleeper agent. Sleeper agent. Overpowered. What level are you? It's really annoying because like it's every other person's level that I can see. Is like one. Wait. Yeah, it says you're like level 1. That's dog shit. It doesn't show me other people's levels. I don't know what. Like, if you see me in the menu, like, am I at level 1 too? Or is it just me?
The menu, let's see here.
So I'm at level fucking.
You're 54.
Yeah.
Right?
It says.
Yeah, I'm 25.
To me, it looks like it says 1. And not just for you, though, everyone.
Oh, weird.
It sucks. It's kind of making me
glitchy.
piss me off. There are some glitchy shit. There's I just unlocked the greed perk, which gives you an extra perk. I mean, the greed wild card gives you an extra perk. And I like to put on I like to have scavenger, tracker, and double time. And gung ho. But like it's like, but one of the perks is stuck on dexterity, and like it won't let me change it from dexterity. It's like it's driving me nuts. There's no way to change it. So it's like I'm not able to have my setup the way I want it. Yeah, it's no scavenger right now, but like it's honestly like. Oops. I've got the ones I want. But then, or my crutches. Or scavengers.
Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Yeah, so I've noticed on the mini map that enemies, when they're on the same level as you are, like they're like their symbol is like kind of like white and bright, and if they're on a different level than you're on, like if they're like a second floor and you're in the first or something like that, they're red.
Hardpoint is secure.
Just red.
Sniper, hung dirt! Watch where you're pointing that shit ass. Hardpoint check. Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Been shooting.
Oh, so yeah, here's there's Nuketown. This is your first match on Nuketown?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think? I mean, this is. I mean, I think it's like right. I'm quite a fan of it.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of similar to the other one, right?
It's
I mean,
almost exactly the same.
The structure.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I think it's literally
the
like
interior and
yeah,
like it's got a rehab or something.
Yeah, it just looks nicer and more colorful. But the setup is like identical, I think, to Cold. Which is kind
of 80s.
Yeah. I mean, the aesthetics completely different. The actual like layout is the same, which is kind of disappointing. I wish they would have changed something, because in Black Ops 4, the Nuketown in that was like a USSR kind of themed one, but like it didn't have the same line of sight. Like it was very like, you know how you have that long line of sight down one side of the map here where you can kind of basically see on one all the way to the end. Like they basically had that kind of blocked off, so like there wasn't any like real like super long line of sights. So I was like thinking maybe they would like, because I've never, obviously never. Just this is like where you cast her up.
Hardpoint located.
But I'm a fan. I like the double rainbows. I like the sunshine.
Hardpoint check. Hardpoint is secure.
Where are the double rainbows?
Up in the sky.
There, I see it.
Yeah, you see them?
Yeah, I see it there. Yeah, just
those seem to be always there.
Rainbow pit.
Yo, bro.
Hardpoint locked down.
Internet.
Oh, the rainbow guy? They was freaking out about the double rainbow?
Yeah.
Well, that's actually fantastic.
TACOM, authorized LBPR strike.
Whoop.
Over here.
Is that an enemy dropping this shit, or is that a friend? That's friendly. Okay, cool.
Friendly?
Those pounds were
Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Do that again. I'm fucking
Hardpoint
dare
locked
you.
down.
Yeah, I'm not so frustrated with the campaign puzzle stuff yet. I just, you know, I remember Resident Evil, and it could be, you know, it could be frustrating. Take a while. I'm gonna give it a little more. But right now, it kind of just feels like I'm wandering around this house with a flashlight, looking for these clues that aren't really coming to me. I've been through the house a million times now. I'm like, okay.
Is this like the first and only part so far where there's been? I mean, how is the plot seem linear, or is there? Are you making decisions that can maybe affect what's going to happen, or are you just?
Yeah, you talk to Woods, and you have like kind of choices of your answer, you know, or your questions with him. So that probably, you know, depending on what you do, probably determines something. But I can't imagine it affects the puzzle for too much. Maybe the overall story will be affected, but the puzzle probably not affected by that.
I'm gonna Ink Slasher. I don't know if shooting. Watch this stuff, but like.
I remember that guy. Yeah.
He's into the story and shit. Tries to make sense of everything, and he's got a. I mean, I was trying to get through the whole campaign. I wanted to watch part like Black Ops 2. It's 4 hours, and I just can't get through it, man. It's too long. And he has a video where it's like I think it's literally called like the story so far. He gives like kind of just a recap of what's happening, and like I think I want to just like watch that shit before I play the campaign, just so I have a general idea of like what's going on. And he also put out one of how to solve all the puzzles. So if I get the puzzles and I'm not enjoying trying to solve them, I'm just gonna watch that video.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I think in Resident Evil, one of the ones I was playing, there's a couple times I got stuck and I'm like, that's it. I'm looking this up.
Yeah.
But most of them I got through.
Did you beat? You're talking about Resident Evil 2, right?
Oh, I'm so horrible with remembering.
It's one where you're the cop at the cop station, and the zombies are all outside.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Did you beat that?
Yeah.
I haven't beat a game properly probably since like Far Cry 5, man. No, Diablo 2. No.
Doom
2. Last one. I just like don't. I want to get back on that shit, man. I don't know how to like motivate myself. Maybe the campaign for this game will do it. I don't know. But I'm just like I feel like I didn't have this problem before I started playing Blood. I would be able to play a game with a story. No problem. I feel like Call of Duty like really like shortened my attention span.
Screwed up and made all games take a back seat.
Even during the campaign, I know I'm gonna like try to like play like it's multiplayer, but you can't because they're not gonna move around. They're just gonna like stand there.
Hardpoint located.
Have you taken someone as a body shield yet?
I did by accident.
Yeah, me too. I did a couple times by accident. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, what's the advantage there?
Or no, like what's the
it's like having a shield, I guess.
Kind of. This seems to like be.
Hardpoint is secure.
Yeah, I ended up just killing the guy because I was like, well, I don't want to lose the kill.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think you automatically.
But oh, do you?
I think you can write it out.
Huh.
I've gotten a kill or two.
suppose if you're using it as a shield, it's gonna get shot at before you do, so it'll probably die before
Hostile
I mean,
UAV
just
established
experiment
overhead.
with it.
Enemy care package
Try to
above.
see if I can figure out. I know that there's probably a prompt on the screen that tells you that either just assassinate or using the body shield. Can't figure that out soon. I'm just gonna
Hardpoint active. Hardpoint active.
watch out the sniper just over the point. Not messing around.
All mission objectives met. Way to make me proud.
Had it in the bag. Move out.
Good
It's
game.
totally even.
Yeah, that was nice. The one, Besley baby. Oh, you better do an emote. You're number 3.
Shit.
There you go. Shh. Awesome. Awesome. Nice work. The
Oh, that's
obligatory
cool. Nice.
Oh yeah, man. I'm
I have to equip a marksman rifle here. I don't know.
Oh sure. Let me back out.
Maybe I can't.
Let me see.
I don't know if I.
Yeah, if you want to go check out your loadouts. If you've got customs,
Create
you
new.
totally.
Yeah. All right then.
You will have at least
There we
one
go.
marksman.
All right.
I've been using. It's probably gonna be the same one.
Nothing. All right, that's good. Now I got that. Oops.
Ammo.
Rifle. Restock 10 teammates with ammo of your assault pack.
Even the Sarkov 762. It's really good. Mega powerful.
That's a marksman rifle.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's this one I got unlocked. No, I've got them all unlocked. But, that's the one I'm working on.
Okay.
Right.
All right, good to go.
Did you want to do more Nuketown, or did you want to jump into another map?
Yeah, we could sure.
Because I know your time's limited.
Yeah, let's do another nuke. Yeah, that's cool.
Sounds feeling good. I like the green. I mean, I loved Cold War Nuketown. I'll always love it. That whole game is ever a special spot in my heart. It's nice to play it now, and it's like this is a really nice clean right. Like especially specifically inside, like it would get a little dark inside on the buildings in Cold War. It seems like it's bright throughout all this, which I like. I like the grass. I like the green grass instead of the sand, which was I think. That was still rad. Like the video game references and the arcade machines and stuff. We're gonna have to go back to that game. Sorry. Like on a Throwback Thursday or something.
Cold War? Or...
Yeah. Cold War.
Yeah.
We don't have to do this immediately. I think maybe once we're done with the camo grind, I might start doing like a Throwback Thursday. Like on Thursday, play like Vanguard or Cold War or Super Crazy. Modern Warfare 2019. Or if I'm feeling like insane or masochistic, going to Modern Warfare.
I thought you were going to say DMZ.
Oh, yeah, I mean, DMZ, there you go. Dude, Throwback Thursday and DMZ, I'm 1,000% down.
Oh my god.
Damn it, we've lost the lead.
I wonder how far we would have got if we would have kept playing that game. Would we
Well, I don't know, man.
fucking-
We probably got pretty far.
I mean, it was hard, man.
I just don't know if, like, I have no idea. I don't think feel like we did a bit of investment in that game. It sucks that like they didn't continue it. I really wish that they would have like brought it into this game, updated the movement. If they wanted to, if they had to move it to a different map or whatever, but like just keep the mode going. Yeah, they just like gave up on it. We'll probably never be back. It's like it sucks because that was a lot of fun. That's what got you and I playing,
they just
every
had
day.
Yeah, it was. Difficulty was so fucking high on that game. It was like, man.
It's the high difficulty.
They're getting better.
But when you actually like get it, when you accomplish it, it's like,
yeah,
it feels rewarding.
Yeah, that was probably the best gaming high ever. Was beating the chemist. Man, that day was so fucking.
Oh, dude! And when you like went on that crazy ass ride to Exfil, dude, that was.
And last second, everything was nuts.
That was it.
Yeah, you brought home the kill, and then I.
Yeah, then you
bring it back to
exfil
the home
the
base,
weapon.
the helicopter. That was unbelievable.
This shit ain't working. We've lost the advantage. We got the lead. Now hold it.
Yeah, if it wasn't for DMZ, that whole year would have been kind of a bust. DMZ was fun. I do sometimes miss doing like the co-op versus, bots thing. If you're ever in the mood to that, I know plenty of games where ever in the mood. I don't think I'd ever really want to use these. There's a couple good up there that a lot of fun.
Come on, you're losing this fight.
But
nice. We're pulling ahead.
There's a lot of grinding. And, like I'm still on this hand, like extrafying it. I'm still doing the extrafying. Play other games.
Oh jeez. Stalking me.
Yes, he was stalking him.
He was like creeping. He was like not running at me. He was kind of walking really slowly. It was like, what the hell?
It's not how you play Call of Duty.
Aggressive, man. No stalking allowed.
You can slide backwards. Why are you gonna like tiptoe? Get in the I mean, unless you're specifically going for streaks, but
Operating
I mean, he was gonna try to do a finishing move on me.
well, all three of them.
Notice there's like a bunker back here. There's like a.
Watch out! Up here, there's in that front room. There's 3 dudes. I'm gonna go in there.
Oh yeah, I just found them.
Damn it! My nade didn't get anything. I ran in there, got killed. And there was like 4 dudes.
Oh shit. There's still one left, so I threw the bomb in there. Got a few of them.
Yeah,
a couple of them.
I think there's. Yeah, we're flipping.
Hostile RCXD in your AO.
Grappler located.
Lead down.
And stay down.
Oh,
Damn
jeez.
it, we've lost the lead.
Oh, hey. Hey, how you doing?
Kid.
Control.
Come on, dude. Oh, this guy in this front room. I cannot get him.
Green building or the other one?
Nowhere.
We
Green.
Oh god, yeah, he's got it. Is he sniping?
There.
I'm gonna throw a screen.
I just got him finally.
Nice.
I got him. He's dead. He's empty. Oh no, there's still one back there. There was 2 guys.
I gotta get scrambler kills.
Catching up.
Yeah.
Get a UAV on grid.
Jesus, unbelievable.
Archangel pressing fire. Deploying RCXD.
Enemy marksman shooting. Frag thrown.
Nice.
Finish line didn't Don't let
Jump
up.
right in front of me.
Boom. Next.
Nice.
Sweet dude, we're the top
That's how
3.
we
We're
do
gonna
it.
emote.
TACOM, come get us.
Oh.
Gotta emote.
About time.
Trump got the plague. I love this. Look at that body shot. Okay.
Ah, someone owes me a $5.
Oh, is this the guy? Is this the guy who's not getting the kills? Window? Alright. Here we go. I'm gonna got this one going. We're chilling. Oh shit, it's 8 o'clock. Are you done?
Yeah, I think to run.
8 o'clock, I'm gonna go down. It's kind of slick. Good games. Are you liking new
games? Yeah, no, it's fun. I like it.
Super.
Cool.
I'm sorry. I'm overreacting. It just feels like we're playing a Black Ops game, and I'm just excited for whatever else they're gonna bring, whether it's new or redone. You know what I mean? It's like this is gonna be, and like, I think like what they're planning on doing is at the end of the year they're gonna basically kind of do what they did with Modern Warfare. They're gonna do like a year 2, and they're going to bring all the maps that were in Black Ops 2, which I'm not sure which ones I've played from that you've played, but it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be sticking around. Probably have the same guns and stuff. It might be kind of fun. I don't know. I'm pretty optimistic about it.
Yeah, awesome. All right, man. Well, look for you tomorrow if you'll be around.
I will, and have a great night. Tell Rachel I said what's up. And
wait, are you doing the campaign?
I will be doing the campaign, but dude, hit me up at night. It's fine. I can't stay away. But
I mean, the campaign to me is something you got to break up anyway. It's like I did a half hour just wandering around this house, and that was plenty. It's like, okay, I'm ready to shoot things now.
I'm gonna record it and stuff, but I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous because like when I just not Ace. I'm sorry. When Ink Slasher put out the video and the title was "This is not a Call of Duty campaign." Like I'm like, oh, I'm nervous now, man. I don't want it to. I don't want to be too much. I like the action movie shit, but. Whatever.
Yeah. The first 2 missions are typical, like, you know, you're trying to, you know, infiltrate, you know.
But I know they're gonna
space, kill
mind
enemies
fuck is coming. There's gonna be a mind fuck somewhere super soon. Like there's gonna be more and more questions. I can tell. Like you're gonna play. It's gonna first seem like a normal Call of Duty game, and then things are going to start getting a little questions, but they're not going to be answering. They're just going to be weird. And then you get
Adler's an alien, and
yeah. So I'm thinking
like
like
that,
there's something going on with Adler. There's a vibe about Adler that I'm kind of worried about.
yeah. Well, it's not giving much away that this house is where it's a safe house that he was hiding in that used to be KGB. But you're just trying to, I don't know where Adler's at, but he used to be living there, or maybe he's hidden somewhere. Who knows?
I have to.
There's Adler. You gotta get in there for Adler. Do it for Adler.
For sure. But I mean, let me know. Let me know if you start getting confused about the plot, because it is apparently like directly like there is a canon from Black Ops 2, which I haven't even watched yet. So I think I'm gonna watch the Ink Slasher videos story so far ones, so I can like kind of get a basic understanding of what's going on, because like Woods is in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know why.
He's in the safe house with you.
But like, why is he in a wheelchair? He got into a wheelchair and
I'm already lost.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want to catch up. I want to know what's going on. Because like in Black Ops 2, there was like, it was actually taking place like 2025 or something, which was like way in the future at the time. Not way in the future, but Woods is really old and he's in a wheelchair, but never really figured out why he was in a wheelchair. And like, whatever. I just want to get on it. I don't have time to watch the whole game. Whatever.
Right, just read the Wikipedia page or something.
You can do that. But I rather
try to dope it out.
I like Ink Slash. He's very invested in the story. He even did an interview with the guy who did the original voice actor for Woods, because apparently they're using someone different now since Cold War. But anyway, but if I'm gonna watch those, so if you have any plot questions after I watch those, I can. If I think that they're worth recommending, I'll let you know.
All right, man. Cool. All right. Well, I'll look for you tomorrow.
Yes, dude. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right. Later.
Night.
Still going. You and me. Chat. 0 people. With peace and love. What are we gonna watch? Going with this Tim Pool.
In opposition to
45 minutes left.
Trump, but the opposition certainly was greater. But I think the biggest function of 2020 was Republicans just don't know how to win elections. That's why I think the last Republican to win a popular vote was it Reagan, I think?
No, well, Bush in his second election did, but he did that by basically coming out and bashing gay people and driving out well, no, I think that was actually, despite the fact, I mean, you know, in the wake of 9/11, there was a lot of intimidation by the Republicans, and they attacked a lot of Democrats for being, you know, Max Cleland, who lost like both his arms and his legs or an arm and 2 of his legs, I think it was. He was running for re-election in Georgia, and they called him Osama bin Laden.
All right, let's do this.
Deathmatch. Destroy
Love
the
the
enemy.
hat. It's good. What mode is this? Team Deathmatch? Whoa, whoa, whoa. go. There we go. Wall bang. You fine with this? Oh, sweet.
Tagged and bagged.
Oh my god. Okay, oh, this is not good. Can I find some air? Thank you. Looking for an enemy. Ooh, pizza. Ooh, nanners. Hey, look at this art. That's fun. Like that. Hi. Oh, ah!
Stim administered.
Sting.
Ice the sharpshooter.
Here, anybody? Anyone wants to jump into my scrambler? Plant. In the house. Okay. Oh no. Oh boy. Gotcha. Oh, where you at? Got you guys. Oh. Nice job.
Tack on. Get me a UAV.
UAV in the turret. We have eyes on.
Marksman smoked.
Enemy RCXD detected.
UAV MTL 50%. Check.
Establishing scrambler.
TACOM, we're flying on fumes. UAV returning to tank.
Come into my scrambler. Nice. Scrambled. Let's go. For the scrambler. That's sweet XP. nothing. Got jacked up. Yep. Over this way. Up. Where down? Dumb scrambler out of here. No, wait. Scrambler gone. Sleeper agent in. You're fucked. We're so fucked. So people shit in. I love it, but it should be. And I don't know how to nerf it. There's no way to like. It's just something that shouldn't be. The whole concept is just too much.
Enemy put down.
I thought you can make yourself look at an enemy. Not fair. And there's no way to nerf it. They should take. I don't know if they'll. Oof. There.
Dropped enemy.
Dropped. Got gas. Bugged. Nothing. Oh shit. Try it, bro. Embarrassing. Where is I? Get shit out, bro. Forget about it. Golly, missed me. Got that shit on Game Pass. Homie. I'll delete it right now. And oh shit, I should delete it too.
Eyes on hostile long gun.
We're all wearing like bright ass yellow shit. I should change my skin. Sticking out. Like I'm like jogging at night or something. This game's all about being bright. I want to play something bright time. But you know.
Marksman smoked.
Sleeper agent. Here we go. Time to be cheese. To be cheese. Oh, I think the game's almost over. Yeah, we lost.
All operators to your nearest CCP. We just got our ass kicked.
Grab the wounded. Make way to exfil. Back at you.
All right, I'm gonna get to